Hello. Hello, hello, hello. How is everybody doing? How's life? How's the universe? How has your week been? How is everybody doing? Have I got everything set up right? I hope so. Hello. Um, yeah. Hello. How is everybody doing? Hello, John. Who may or may not be here. How you doing? Hello, Simon. How are you? How's your week? Hello, Be Right. How you doing? How has your week been? Hello, DT. Good to have you. How you doing? How's things? Oh, I should have muted the mic. I'm so sorry. Um, Hello, Ish. Currently adding some snow to some visuals for the weekend. Nice. I'm surprised that you don't have them ready already. Because it seems like everybody had their Christmas like lights up and stuff about a month ago. Um, I hope you're doing well. We can pretend. Uh, um, yeah. And Simon, no, I know that it's for your work. I just mean I'm surprised that your work has not been required to have these Christmas displays up already. That's the joke. You know, it's well into December already. It's the 4th. Can you believe it? It's the 4th. Um, Tesco had stuff like Christmas stuff for sale. Technically, I think the first stuff they had was August. But the real push was, yeah, the second that Halloween is over, so November 1st, it was, everything is Christmas. So yeah, that's the joke. Only 22 eggs until the cream eggs are advertised. Yep, yep, that's true. That is true. True, true, true. Oh damn. Uh, Thank you very much, DT. You're very kind. Um, and yes, thank you. I suppose the first question is, how's everybody, doing for Christmas? Are we excited? Are we apprehensive? Are we not interested? Let me know. Black Friday sales over now. Christmas sales next. Yeah, yeah. This week is like the worst time to buy anything now because you've had Black Friday and basically they have to put the price up to the highest possible, like the highest for the whole year for like this week, and then they do like, oh my god, it's Christmas sales, in a couple, like next week or whatever. So yeah, if you're gonna buy anything, wait a week. Um, Excited to spend time with friends and family. Gutted over what's happening with RAM prices and how disappointing Black Friday was. Good. Agreed. Yeah. Yeah, hold on. I'm gonna sneeze. I'm so glad the Elgato Wave 3 has capacitive mute. Oh, so glad. It's great. I'm so glad you don't need to hear that. But yes, on the note of gutted about like RAM prices, Crucial have taken like the smoothest brain decision possible, and they have, well, sorry, Micron, who own Crucial, have decided to pull out of all consumer devices in favor of data center only, like high bandwidth memory stuff. This is insane. Like, why? Why? Because like the um the machines that they use to make DDR 4, for example. Actually, do you know what? I'm not entirely sure about that, so I'm not gonna say anything. Um, yeah, it's that's an insane choice. Like truly insane. Um, I guess the shop's playing their favorite seasonal song, "Fleece the World." Do they know it's Christmas time? um, at least they're being honest about it. Yeah, yeah, but like, oh, so stupid. Um, yeah, this is a rough time to be building a computer. Um, oh bollocks! I can't tell you about that. I think CES is on the 6th of January, or like the first day of CES is the 6th of January, which is when they like all the companies will basically make all their announcements because they can't they can't not announce something that they're showing off to the public and to the press at an event. So, you know, uh, I think it's like 6th of January at, probably 2 a.m. for us, or no, it'll be like 2 a.m. American time, West Coast time or whatever, Pacific time. So like 4 p.m. here or 2 p.m. here, whatever. Shut up. Sometime on the 6th of January, for us in the, you know, GMT plus zero, there will be a crazy number of announcements, right? Just pre warning you. January 6th, announcements. Many, many announcements. I don't normally do videos on announcements. I am so pissed off about this that I'm gonna do a video about it. Yeah, 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 yeah. Um, rip DIY PC building. I mean, rip PC building in general. Like it, I literally just got shown a headline that was like, DDR like RAM is so expensive that Samsung won't even sell it to Samsung. Like, it's ridiculous. Crucial were good, and not cray cray prices. Before I agree, Crucial were great. Their SSDs were fantastic. And their RAM is, I mean, RAM's kind of RAM as long as it's like well priced and good clock speed and cache latency. Then who cares? But yeah, Crucial were decent, and really good for SSDs. And now they flush that hole down the toilet. And I really like. I am looking forward to the day in about 2 years when they realize that this was a like tremendous mistake, and they're like, "Oh, we're bringing back Crucial." Um, you're announcing a video about announcing something. Is it from Facebook? It sounds a bit meta. Nice. um, yeah. No, it's not. Um, I can't tell you. I'm so annoyed. uh, um, Pretty sad Nvidia isn't providing GDDR with their kits to AIBs. Huge loss for bulk purchase discounts. That's kind of surprising considering that the RAM is one of the core uh fundamental things that go with the chip and with the performance as well. That's kind of surprising. Um That'll be something to see. I mean, I hope so. I need to ask them for the press deck so that I can rip them to shreds. uh, um, we, the consumer, will go crawling back. Well, yeah, but at least we'll get to gloat for 3 seconds, you know? Because clearly gloating is the most important part. Uh, um... Yeah, what's been happening in tech? Have I forgotten something? Probably. Forget a lot of stuff. Then we'll carry on the pile of money. Fuck. Damage. I realized halfway through saying it, like, what that date was, and I was trying to avoid that connotation, although it is in America, so. Oh dear. So, how's everybody doing for tech? What have I been? I repaired my phone. I did that. It's done now. I can't remember if I'd done that. No, I hadn't actually done it last week. Yeah, I did it last Friday. Phone's back in operation. I need to clear off the glue from the back plate though. I'm doing the whole like charge and discharge cycle on the battery to like calibrate it, but I think I need to take it apart again so that I can get at the fingerprint sensor and clean it, because I tried to re-enroll my fingerprint and it said, oh no, that fingerprint is already registered. I was like, cool. But then I try and use that fingerprint to unlock the phone and it won't unlock. So I think I need to clean it at least somewhat. So yeah. Depending on how the purchase is funded. On a lighter note, was looking at your back catalogue of videos and I liked the new hair. Thanks. It's going longer. Although, to be fair, it's already not bad. Yeah. I mean, you'll find out why in... I haven't decided. Either somewhere between 6 and 24 months from now. Is when you'll find out why. And in completely uninteresting news, I rewired my loft's lighting ring again to be able to fit a few new lights. I've been boarding the loft, like insulating and boarding it, so gotta like move the wiring out of the way so that it's accessible and serviceable later. So yeah. Oh. Which is quite fun. Quite fun. Obviously, that's not a recommendation to you know, play with electrics, because it is, funnily enough, kind of dangerous, and you know, best you know what you're doing. I'm just trying to see if I have any pictures of my spoils. I'm sure I took some. Where did I? Huh. Well, all I've got is a Vago box. So, yeah. I thought I was doing more than that. Well, anyway, there you go. I need to actually change the. So that's the main feed from the consumer unit up to the loft. I need to change those to three-way Vagos so that I can split the what you call it? Main feed to a couple different places rather than the one place and then teeing off of that I've got right now. Don't some electrics have to be checked off by NICE guys? At least a sign off for insurance purposes. So for those that don't know, NICE is or NIC is a certifications company. Basically, generally speaking, registered like electricians can be certified in a few different ways. NIC is one of them, and it's if you're an NIC like registered electrician, that's generally a pretty good quality, or it should be a pretty good quality standard. And yes, some, depending on what you're doing, can. The main thing that you generally would get is an EICR, which is the electrical. I can't remember what it stands for. Like electrical installation something report, maybe. Anyway, you basically have an electrician come round and inspect all of your electrics. They do a few tests, like testing if you have RCDs, RCBOs, electrical installation condition report. Thank you. Acronyms always get me. If you have RCDs, or Americans call them GFCIs, ground fault circuit interrupter, whereas ours is residual current device. I think, again, acronyms get me. Basically, ground fault detectors. So if you shock yourself, it will trip before the mains can kill you. So yeah, they'll check that. In the UK with an ESCR, there are a bunch of I think it's 3 failure modes. So 1, 2, or 3, which I think is in severity order. Yeah. I'm very scatterbrained today. My apologies. So stuff like a single insulated wire for a light fitting, even in the ceiling, counts as a class 2 failure. What's the word? Class or something counts as a level 2 failure, because if that insulation is worn away or whatever, that counts as a like that could be potentially hazardous, maybe sort of. Not really, but let's pretend. So that's something that should be rectified, for example. In theory, they should also test or check that things like current ratings for the wiring is acceptable. Obviously, the wiring condition, and all that sort of stuff. So, theoretically, yes. Especially like when it comes to selling the house or whatever, it's a good idea to get an EICR and to get it checked over. And I'm sure I've been discussing, ironically, with my postie, who happens to be very knowledgeable in replacing windows, about what the deal is with replacing windows and the regulations about doing that. You sort of need building control sign off if you're replacing the whole frame. Which, like, window companies can just self-certify it, but you just need a form that says we did it right, basically. So yeah, there's also regulations that I'm sure I'll get something wrong with, even if it's not actually unsafe. Hello, Simon. How you doing, man? How's things? Good to have you. As long as Ice doesn't have to sign off on it. uh, um, we have RCDs and MCDs. Yeah, so MCDs are what we call sort of circuit breakers. They are I can't reach it. They are resettable fuses, if you like. They have like bimetallic strips that heat up as you put more current through them, and if you put enough current through them, they pop the other way, kicking the contacts apart and breaking the circuit. But you can then close it again to make it work. But yeah. Hello, Luca. How you doing, man? How's things? Here's an odd one. An audiophile acquaintance swears that running his 80 watt per channel RMS amp from 240 volts instead of our usual 120 volts in Canada has made an audible difference. Really? I'm trying to evaluate how the fuck that could work. So first of all, I'm the wrong person to ask about this. I don't give a shit about like the last 2% of audio and often visual quality. If I'm being really honest, I am generally not super picky when it comes to those really finite details, which may work against me. Fair enough, but in trying to work out why that might even possibly be the case, the only thing that I can come up with is that if you run it at 240 volts, for the same amount of power, you half the amperage. Half the amperage means less losses through cables and less, potentially less interference. But realistically, no. Especially because once, so an amplifier is not an alternating current based device. The amplifier takes the 240 volts or 120 volts in and steps it down to 12 volts DC, probably. There'll also probably be 5 and 3.3 volts, maybe. Maybe the speaker. Come on, brain. Speaker outputs are higher. Who cares? Point is that the changing the input power in a properly isolated device should not change the output sound quality. Now, I'm sure that there are plenty of audiophiles who would disagree with me. They may even be right. But it's more efficient to run it at 240 volts for sure. Purely because of the lower amperage, like literally half the amps going in, and therefore the better what do you call it, output you get. So yeah, I mean, with enough inductors and capacitors and LC circuits, you should very well be able to isolate any noise that the power supply is outputting at whatever voltage it's running at, to before then using it in your op amps to drive the speakers and power transistors and shit. So yeah, what's output isn't equivalent to what's in. That is true, and a higher voltage is more efficient in the conversion stages too. That's why power supplies are you like if you ever look at a power supply, like computer power supplies efficiency charts, they generally have two lines, one for 220 to 240 volts and one for 110 to 120 volts. And you will notice that the 240 volt line is always higher. Again, just because of the lower current factor. Hello, Chris. How you doing, man? How's things? How the devil are you? Who says that? Have you had a good week? Who says that? God damn it. Chris, tell me the reference. My brain isn't working. Yeah. I figured any decent amp would have a good power supply. Oh, that's it. It's auto shenanigans. Thank you. I knew that I knew it. Irrespective of the voltage going in. Yes, they should. Doesn't necessarily mean they do, but they should. To be fair, if you can do power in for a multimeter that's giving you 10 digits of precision in your volts or ohms or current readings, you can do that for audio. Although I guess the potential argument is that when you're doing that for 9.5, 10-digit multimeters, whatever, you're probably talking about a capture time in seconds, whereas audio, ideally you are continuously outputting, obviously, but even from a digital perspective and a sample perspective, you're talking about with Nyquist's theorem, double the highest frequency, so 44,000 hertz, but many audiophiles do 96 kilohertz for 4 samples per highest frequency. Yeah. Imperceptible change the audio. I do not have sensitive enough ears to tell you if there is any change. I'm sure that there is very very sensitive microphones that could discern some difference. I think for me the point that I often try and get across in videos is something might be categorically and evidently qualitatively better than something else. But if the difference between the two is so negligible as to require very specialized testing equipment to notice it, then it doesn't matter. Doesn't the power supply simply have to be good to smooth out inputs regardless of 240, 110, and source for Canadian power would be 2 of the 110 lines added together anyway, so any noise should be on both supply lines. Yes, pretty much. I think the argument I would potentially have, or that I'm attempting to make, which is really a half-hearted argument, if I'm honest, is that by doubling the voltage, you half the current and therefore half the potential chance for the noise to be coming through. But for those of you who aren't aware, North American Power does actually supply 240 volts to the house, although they the 3 wires that come in from to your house, not including the earth line, which, you know, earth rod or whatever, is actually the 2 ends of the transformer plus a center tap. So your 110 is actually just half of either connected to one leg or the other, with the center tap in the middle. So you can either take your 2 lines or not. I believe it's additive here. Oh, okay, I didn't realize it was different across the border. Fair enough. Yes, for fast tea indeed. Actually, if you haven't seen that video, it's wonderful. Alex from Technology Connections has a British kettle that he plugged into a 240 volt outlet, and surprise, surprise, it's twice as fast because you can pump 3 kilowatts of power into a kettle here in the UK, and therefore, if you use an appropriately rated 240 volt socket in a house, you can. But the funny thing is, if you then hook up the same a kettle that's rated at 1500 watts to 120 volts, if you hook up to 240 volts, you get more. Yes, without burning the kettle out. That's a good point. I think the thing is that in the UK, we don't just use the kettle for tea. Like, we have hot water bottles. You put the kettle on to boil pasta, like, so that the water heats up faster. You use it for a lot of stuff other than just hot drinks. Although, to be fair, hot chocolate, yes. So, yeah. Yeah, use it for pasta. Indeed. For vegetables, exactly. Pot noodles. Actually, I hate the like chives or whatever from pot noodles, so super noodle pots are, although the pot noodle is still anyway. Gravy, yeah. I've still never had a pot. You're financially irresponsible. How have you not had a pot noodle? Oh wait, isn't your dad posh or something? That's probably why. We'd be lost with a kettle. Indeed. And yeah, Chris spot on a car, Volvo. Chris, did you get the payment sorted out? We don't have all of our power cables to every device. Being an ad hoc electric heaters, computers can pull all the power. Yeah, well, so for those who don't know, British plugs have fuses built in, and the plug sockets basically all have a switch for the given not just face but socket. So if you have what's called a 2-gang, so 2 sockets on one faceplate, you will have 2 switches for that, one for each. So you can turn power off to any given thing, which, considering we're one of the few countries in the world that actually has that, it's clear that it's not a necessity, but it is kind of nice. And it's very easy to be able to see, is this thing plugged in and is it turned on? And is there, and you don't have to spark every time. Anyway, I'm poor but I like nice things. So naturally for breakfast today, I had a cream cheese spread on a bagel with Sainsbury's Taste the Difference smoked salmon and 2 poached eggs. Chris. Why are you so offensively posh in some regards and so chavvy in others? Fucking hell. Oh, Jesus. Turn on ray tracing, heat your house. That's how I roll. Do you know, when it is cold, like, playing video games is actually amazing because you get the entertainment of the games and you get free heating. Oh, permanent seeds freeze isn't the same. Uh, the salmon was an active price. That still doesn't help, Chris. 2 poached eggs, salmon, and a cream cheese spread on a bagel is so fucking posh. Jesus Christ. Caviar and Volvos. Oh, Chris, that is you to a T, and it should definitely be an album name for you. Oh, you know. If we're being posh, I had overnight oats with chia seeds for breakfast this morning. For the first time, I was trying it out. It was okay. I ended up putting it in the microwave for a bit and putting a lot of honey in. So, yeah. Oh yeah, you like Bovril as well. We were talking about that in Moneyman chat. Oh god. Oh dear. I had 2 Weetabix. Nice. Any fruit or sugar or honey? Or cheese? Fuck. Oh. Bovril. Ugh. I agree. Oh, Jesus. I'm about to have my McDonald's with free socks. Oh, nice. Semi-skimmed milk and a few strawberries. Nice. 3-minute noodles and smoked salmon. Now we're talking. Isn't Bovril somewhere between Marmite and gravy? Yes. Yeah, it is. I seem to remember from the Top Gear trio that's a favourite of James May's. Marmite's even worse. I mean, yes, but please don't attack my Marmite. If you've not heard, it is a love it or a hate it thing, and unfortunately, I am in the hate it camp. And I guess so, Simon. I like Marmite. I even had some before stream. On toast. Not by the spoon. I am not that savage. It's hard. I agree. Oh dear. I'm surprised you've ever had Marmite, Chris. That seems right up your alley. And if you like Bovril, I have to assume you like Marmite. Oh dear. Deary me, oh my. What you like? I'm working out how to word a question I have for you. Um, how do you feel about the rise of AI tools, not just for in a professional landscape, but in a personal capacity? DT, heavy restriction on internal combustion in London. Can you fill me in? I don't live anywhere near London, so these sorts of things don't really show up in my feeds and interests. Is that video the one with the blender? I do drive when I go to London, which is very rarely, I might add. Although my car is Euro 6, so not the V8 smoothie. Okay, fair enough. But yeah. Had a question pop up on level of text about how many of us have too much old tech, like PCs that are not even in use, boxes of PCBs and such. I do need to visit the tip a couple of times to clear out. Yeah. I love driving around London. Everybody is so kind of curious. Can the restrictions, too much restrictions in London, as there's always, can't be? Is that? Too many restrictions in London, as there are always Lamborghinis by my work. Yeah. I have a broken LGA 775 Dells, multiple, have been dead for years, still not willing to bin them. This might be considered a problem if I weren't also in the same boat, so I'm gonna say that. Yeah, I assumed curious was not the right word. Courteous is probably a better, yeah. Discourteous? What are the new restrictions about basically no internal combustion engines? What's the deal? Someone tell me. I work next to a Porsche dealer, and growing up, the 911 was my dream car. Nippy, fast, small, and fun. Having driven a couple of them, they're amazing. Genuinely, I think my current favorite. If I had to have one car, one fun car to dick around in only, a 911 Carrera T is probably where my head's at. It's manual. It's got plenty of power. I think it's a turbo 6-cylinder, 385 horsepower RPS stock, although I'm sure you can remap it. Ridiculously comfortable, very well connected, just a really, really nice experience. They ended up selling loads of the Cayennes and the Macans. I think the Macan is their best-selling car. In the same way that the Purosangue is now Ferrari's best-selling car. The Urus is the Q7. I mean the Urus, the Q7, SQ7, RSQ7, RSQ8. The Urus is Lamborghini's. It's such a shame. I mean, even the Aston Martin DBX is the best-selling Aston Martin, which is just hateful. But there you go. My fun car is the poor man's Porsche, the old 370Z. Gets me in plenty of trouble. Nice. Well, the 370Z is still naturally aspirated 3-liter V6, right? They do an emissions tax when you park in West London too, actually, so I had to pay an extra £12 a day parking over the normal price that electric cars pay. Nice. And a 3.7, right. Is it about 300 horsepower? Is that? Give or take. I didn't think it was possible to make Windows more crap, but the idea of an agentic OS seems more like a significant strategic mistake. I 100% agree. Yeah, it's a catastrophic misjudgment of people's priorities, interests, requirements, and security. So, yeah. Taking the missus to the spa next year, the benefit is that my tuning guy is next to it. Oh dear. I think it's around 350. Not much torque. Fair enough. Mine is God. So 333 horsepower and 440 newton meters of torque, I think, at peak. Beauty of 3-liter supercharged. Although if I remap it, then it's over 500 newton meters, and even just stock, it's even just with a tune, no hardware changes at all, it's 420 horsepower, and then if you do the bigger intake funnel or throttle body basically, and the bigger intercooler, and obviously smaller pulley at the supercharger, bigger on the crank, it's over 500 pretty reliably, especially with a bigger intercooler. So that's pretty sweet. I might add the bigger intercooler or get the bigger intercooler soon TM anyway, because you can't tell, and it adds a lot of like a better heat dissipation for the charge air, so that then when I do come to tune it, that's already done. I've done the sort of security part, and now I get to have fun with it. So yeah. I'm currently 420 horsepower, 550 newton meters. After the spa, it'll be 450 and 600. Nice. Nice. Chris loves the massive turbo lag in the T5. Nice. I only heard about electric owners complaining that they'll have to pay congestion charge soon. Yeah. I'm intrigued as to how the whole EV pay per the mile tax thingy-majig is intended to go. I don't entirely disagree with it, especially because that, like, at least once you get into the MOT days. So for those who don't know, vehicles sold in the UK that are 3 years old or older get a annual safety inspection. We call it the MOT, which is weird because that's Ministry of Transport test, but we call it the MOT, the Ministry of Transport. Anyway, point is, we get that once a year. It does say you do safety checks, and they also record the current mileage of the car. That's very useful because you can look up the history of any car if you have the registration plates. You can't find any identifying details like where the test was taken or anything like that unless you have the logbook, but you can find out, what failures it's had and check the MOT mileage history, which is really useful in buying a vehicle, buying a used car. But obviously, first 3 years you don't do that test. I'm kind of surprised that if you buy a new EV, you're gonna have to like self-report the mileage. I think that's my understanding. Whereas obviously, from once you do an MOT, you then get it'll then just be based on the MOT mileage recorded, which isn't a foolproof system, but who cares? My car might have got 80 horsepower when it was new, like 19 years ago. I mean, if it gets you about, who cares, right? The human eye can't detect anything above 60 horsepower. Good meme. Honestly, I think any vehicle should just be in a tax bracket like any combustion car. I never believed in the free tax on diesels, etc. It made no sense. Well, the thing about taxes is that they are used as incentives. The whole um, the whole idea of like red diesel, which in the UK means it's tax free diesel, so it's significantly cheaper. Um, that uh, that is there to incentivize businesses to conduct operations in the UK and to essentially subsidize people like farmers. Um, but yeah, they made a mistake of renaming it vehicle tax instead of road tax. I agree, because it is a road tax. Although much like most taxation in the UK, like your your road tax just goes into the standard tax pot, and then they still just decide how much to spend on roads, you know, or often how much to spend to give to councils to spend on roads, because your local council is the one who maintains the vast majority of roads. Highways England does maintain all of the motorways, for example, and like some of the cross border, like county border A roads, but um, yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, paying by the mile essentially makes the most sense, because the more you drive, the more sort of wear and tear you put on the road. I agree. I can't remember where it was, about the weight. Ish said curb weight. I think it's gone off screen. Um, yeah, curb weight divided by road miles. That is likely a what I would think is the fairest possible um, way to charge for road use. Um, but yeah, I didn't really understand the whole, because the vehicle tax thing changed in 2016 to be some weird thing about the value of the car for the first 3 or 5 years or something, and then basically nothing afterwards. So I pay £310 a year for my S4 because of its CO2 emissions, regardless of how much I drive it, by the way, because it's like 210, I don't know, grams per mile or some, or per kilograms per 1,000 miles. Just I can't remember. Um, so yeah, I pay £310 a year for that. But someone who buys, a V12 6 liter Lambo in 2016 would pay an extortionate amount of money for the first 2 or 3 years or whatever, and then like less than me going forward, I think. Um, Gigabyte per $1,000. No, that's RAM pricing. Cars over 40K for the first few years. Yeah, that I didn't get that. Um, might stop so many people getting huge SUVs that they drive alone. Yeah, I mean that'd be nice. Electric cars wear roads, and if heavier, then more wear. Generally, yes. And also, like electric cars, their torque delivery is a little different. With internal combustion engines, they're generally pretty slow off the roll, in terms of force application, um, which can be a factor. Although to be honest, if we're going down this route, trains are a much better use of like inter country, like domestic transit, than trucks. Trucks are an inherently horrendously inefficient mode of transit. They are great for last mile, but they're fucking dreadful for like You know, stuff that's coming from Dover to go to Scotland, for example. All of that stuff should be on a container and on a train. If we invested in the train network, like the trains don't, like the operators don't generally know where all of the trains are. So we have a really kind of shit signaling system that slows down trains. Like I live next to one of the main lines. Like it's 100 meters that way. And like trains are very regularly just sat waiting at a light for another train to come through. Yeah. Yeah. The phrase Chelsea tractors is a wonderful Britishism. Yeah. Yeah, like Range Rover, G Wagon, probably an Urus now. Any big twatty SUV that is like clearly meant to be an off-road car, but is exclusively driven by footballers' wives in Chelsea. America has a lot of places that are named the same as British places. Funnily enough, even relatively new towns. There's a Basingstoke in America, and I don't get that. At all. What do you think about the steam machine? I really like it. I really like the idea. Canada has London. That's true. Fake London. That's also true. Glasgow. Oh yeah, Birmingham, Alabama. Yeah. Glasgow. Go. Go. Glasgow. Yeah. Purple burglar. The Watford in Ontario. Watford Gap Services. We do have California here in the UK. We do? I have to assume that the other one did. And in Newbury. We have Washington. True. It's on the East Coast. Huh. There you go. York. York. Fucking hell. What do you think about the steam machine? I'm gonna just answer that again because Jesus. I am interested. I am excited to see that come to fruition. In fact, actually, I've been spin the other way to get it. I cracked out a laptop, and does it have any power left? Damn it! I cracked out a laptop. That if it was powered on, you might have a chance. Stuck a 2TB SSD in here and installed Bazite. I intend to make a video about this eventually, but I want to just like drive it for a while. Like, not daily drive it because I like my main PC, like the one that I'm using to stream this is the thing that I like make all the videos on, write all the software on, all this sort of stuff. And so this is more of a, anytime I'm not looking at this, I can be looking at this instead of a Windows machine. And I just want to get used to it, see what it's actually like, actually using it day to day. So, yeah, I will, once I've got some experience with it, found out the quirks and features, I will let you know how it goes. Bazzite was the OS I found most compatible with most devices. Also, because I had so many compatibility issues with third-party installers, I made a custom SteamOS install script that uses Valve. I assume you're going to carry that on. But nice. Bazzite was pretty easy to install on that. I just had to disable Intel Rapid Storage technology, and then it worked. It's actually kind of funny. So that is, yes, that is a dual screen laptop. It picked up both screens just fine. The only problem is that they're both touchscreens, but it doesn't register as two separate touch input devices. So I can only have one screen. I can only have the touch register properly on one screen, which is a little annoying. But let's face it, that's a really weird use case. I did pick a bad choice to do it, but yeah, I like it. It was pretty easy to get stuff going. Yes, it is an Asus Duo. It is a I was hoping for a model name rather than a. It's a UX582L. I think it's a Pro Duo. 3070 and a 10980 HK or HX, one of them. So yeah. Someone offered me a Razer Blade 15 with a 1660 for an RTX 2070 PC. Bad choice, Blades. Yeah, they look great-ish. They're just, yeah, not very reliable. At least I can now move to Canada and know my way around. That's how it works, right? I mean, yes, but you won't be able to get around because public transport doesn't exist. Don't we all love Razer software? Anyone? Anyone? Yeah. Oh dear. Right, well, let's just import the MGP. I'm gonna call it there. I hope you all have a wonderful week. I hope you all stay safe. Hope you all have fun. Videos tomorrow, Monday. And yeah. Otherwise, we'll see you 1 week close to Christmas. No sound came out there. Bye.